Hello everyone, welcome back again to my C Sharp beginners tutorial and welcome to the fourth episode. And last tutorial, I asked you guys to do homework for me. I hope you guys did it and not just skipped right here, but it should look similar to wondering if we could just review this together quickly. So we first already established the string last tutorial, right? And we can store a data type. This data type is just text, just characters, a line of characters, or a single character, right? And we created multiple of these variables, one for a superhero, one for age, right? I asked you guys to create three more, one for the superhero's favorite thing, the one thing that the superhero hates, and an adjective to describe the superhero. So your your code should look similar to this, all right? Very similar to this. And what I forgot to mention in the last tutorial is you might end up seeing, like, for an example, in this line of code, console.writeLine superhero is the the best DC character. You guys might have had this mistake where it was literally right next to it, right? Uh, you see how Hulk straight it, like it didn't even have a space there. I forgot to mention this, but the compiler, the computer, when it runs the code and it chunks down what we're trying to say and understands what we're trying to say, it doesn't just create gaps like autocorrect or something. Like, what it does is it literally takes and it slaps it. So if there is no space in between the variable and the line of the line of text that we're trying to attach it to, there won't be space. So what you should do to fix this is to add a space right behind it, and it should fix it very smoothly. Hulk is the best DC character. Same with the other ones in between. He is space the age space years old. All right, and the result of all this should look like this. Hulk is the best DC character. He is 4 years old. He loves pizza, spiders. He hates spiders, and he is happy. We could easily change this, right? To, I don't know, Spider-Man. Um, 600, right? We can make our own story, guys. He loves, um, let's just say, he loves cheesecake, alright? He hates spiders. Or we could say he hates snakes or bees, alright? Or whatever you want, and an adjective just to show you how the usefulness behind variables. And for an adjective, he is not happy. Let's say he is nervous, alright? It'll completely change the story and everything that we know about the superhero. Spider-Man is the best DC character, which isn't part of DC, but you guys get it. He is 600 years old. He loves cheesecake. He hates snakes. He is nervous. And yeah, in this tutorial, I just wanted to go over the last tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be touching different variables, alright? Believe it or not, I was foreshadowing different data types, alright? There are different variables that can store different data types, alright? I'll just delete all of this temporarily. Hold on, right there. Gonna go close this off, boom. We know about strings that literally makes they can store text like information like text inside, right? And we can put them inside of a story. We can play around with them. You know what you can also do? You can make integers, which are a variable data type that stores numbers, not just any numbers, whole into a box, a variable, it creates a variable that holds a whole number. That's an integer. And we can name it whatever you want. So remember, whenever you want to call a variable, you tell the line of code, or you tell the computer that you're calling for what? You're calling for an integer, which is short for it's int, which is short for integer, and you're gonna follow it up with the name of the actual variable, just like the string, guys, just like the string, and you're gonna put in a name, like for example, number, and you can just put a number. This time you're not gonna put it in between quotations because it won't understand. It will say, "Oh, cannot implicitly convert string to unit, to integers." That's because this integer type variable cannot just store whatever it wants. Whenever you're calling for a variable, you need to you need to store in the coding information inside of it. So in this case, if we can't just put in 4 inside of a quotation. We can just simply just put in 4, and it will store it inside of number. And now, if we just write down a number inside of the console.writeLine, right? When you run it, it should just say quite simply 4. All right. What's also really nice, guys? You wanna know what's so nice? You guys can add numbers together. So let's just say this is the first number, right? We're gonna change the integer, the first variable created, first number 4. We're gonna create another integer, second number. Let's say the second number is 7, right? What we can do is we can make, like, we have to refix the actual name of the variable because we changed it, right? And we can add it to second number. What do you guys think is gonna happen? We have two variables, two integer variables that house two different numbers, and we are printing them into the console, and we're adding these two numbers together, right? It just says first number plus the second number. What do you guys think is gonna happen? Pause the video, think about it for a couple seconds. But if you want to see the answer, here we go. 11. It added both of them the numbers. So basically, we can make a very basic calculator. If you wanted to put, let's say for example, we wanted to take 5 and 5, it'll add them together, and whole and behold, it gives you 10. You, and what's sick about it is you don't even need to always add them together. There's also different you can not only sum them together, you can also subtract them, and it should give us 0 because 5 minus 5 is 0. You can also, believe it or not, multiply it. You use the star. In Canadian keyboard, the Canadian English keyboard, it just holds shift then 8, and when you run it, it'll give you 25. You can you can basically make your own calculator from this simple line of code. 4 lines of code. Technically, it's 17 or 16, alright. But you're basically making one in 4 lines or less, alright? That is actually impressive. You can also, there's also different, other types of different variables. There are integers, right? We already talked about them. Strings, we already talked about them. There are also doubles. These ones, you won't be using them as often in beginner as a beginner, but it's definitely useful to know. All right, so you know how integers are basically whole numbers. You can't put a point 0.5. Let me just show you guys. Integer number. You can't put 1.5. It won't work. Or will it work? No, it won't work. It won't work. It won't work. All right, it won't work. It'll just say it could not convert double to an integer, right? What you can do is you can put double in front of it, and it'll definitely, most definitely, and it'll most definitely work, and it's working clearly. So if we just put in num, right, and we run it, it should work. Let's check it out. 1.5, let's go. There is also a different one, a different data type. We talked about strings, we talked about integers, we talked about doubles. There are also characters. Characters are are very similar to strings, but yeah, guys, these are basically the most common types of variables used practically daily. It's a daily routine when you're programming or creating your own programs, right? So there are doubles, right? We talked about strings, right? We talked about integers. We also talked about doubles. These are the main variables that you'll be playing around most of the time, all right? And you can play them around with the console. Today I won't be asking for any homework actually. If there's anything I would like you guys to do, it's to practice adding numbers together and multiplying them and dividing them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then.